711. Picture this. On a turbulent shore, a mysterious man stands, ready to lead his armies straight into the unknown. His name? Well, it would be carved into stone forever. Gibraltar. But who was Ṭāriq ibn Ziyād really? Was he this legendary military commander we all hear about? Or was he something else? An ambitious client who straight up defied his master's orders? You see, his story is an epic where the truth and the legend are completely tangled together. To get to the bottom of this legend, we have to find the man behind it. But, well, when you start looking for Tariq's origins, all you find are whispers and contradictions. So, where did this commander even come from? History pretty much hands us a puzzle here. Most accounts will tell you he was a Berber, a fierce warrior from the Zenata tribes of North Africa. But then you've got others who insist he had an Arab or even a Persian background. The real truth of his bloodline, it's just lost to time. Kind of fitting, right? A mysterious origin for a man who was about to change European history forever. But there is one thing historians do agree on. Tariq was a mawla, basically a client, serving under the command of Musa ibn Nasir. Now, Musa was the powerful governor for the huge, ever-expanding Umayyad Caliphate. And this status, it was absolutely crucial. It meant he wasn't an Arab by birth, but maybe a convert or a freedman. His incredible military skills were bound by loyalty to a powerful boss. He was meant to be an asset, a tool to be used, not the guy calling the shots. Or so everyone thought. And that brings us right to the moment that shot him out of the shadows of history and into eternal legend. The decision to cross the sea, to leave Africa behind for good, and step foot on the Iberian Peninsula. But why? I mean, what could possibly motivate such a dangerous invasion? The Visigothic kingdom over there was a major power, sure, but it was also busy tearing itself apart with a nasty civil war. And that weakness, it created an opportunity. So was the invasion just smart strategy? Was it personal ambition? Or was it something else entirely? The old stories give us three very different motives. Was it just part of the grand strategy of the Umayyad Caliphate's expansion? Maybe it was all about Tariq's own ambition, sparked by a dream where the Prophet Muhammad himself supposedly promised him victory. Or, and this is the most dramatic version, was it an act of revenge? An invitation from a betrayed Visigothic noble, a guy named Count Julian, who basically opened the door for the invaders just to get back at his own king. Whatever the real reason was, Tariq and his men made that crossing. They landed on this massive rock that would, very soon, carry his name. And they were facing a kingdom that was fractured, yeah, but still incredibly formidable. This right here was the moment his legend was truly forged. So waiting for them was the Visigothic king, Roderic, and he had rallied his forces. Historians estimate his army was, get this, a staggering 100,000 men. I mean, that's a force designed to completely annihilate any invader. And what did Tariq have to face this massive horde? Just 12,000 soldiers. The odds weren't just bad, they were, impossible. It was right here, on the shores of this new land, that Tariq is said to have made his most unbelievable move. He gathers his troops, their backs literally against the water, and he delivers one of the most famous speeches in all of military history. "Oh, my warriors," he declared, "where can you possibly flee? The sea is behind you, and the enemy is right in front of you." He left them with absolutely no choice but to face what was coming. And then, the ultimate act of commitment. To completely wipe out any thought of retreat, Tariq gave the order, burn the ships. Imagine the flames rising high into the Spanish sky, a signal to his men and to the heavens. There were only two ways out now, victory or martyrdom. So the legend goes, it's this majestic scene, pushing soldiers to impossible acts of bravery. But the question is, did any of this actually happen, or is it just a story that's a little too perfect to be true? Yeah, when you really look at it, critical analysis suggests this whole iconic moment is probably a later invention, something woven together by historians like El-Idrisi centuries after the fact. I mean, it's a powerful story, right? Designed to make the whole conquest feel mythic and heroic. A brilliant piece of storytelling for sure, but maybe not history. But legend or not, what happened next was brutally real. At the Battle of Guadalete, Tariq's military genius was just undeniable. For days, his small force clashed with Roderic's massive army. And through superior tactics and just sheer willpower, the Visigothic line completely collapsed. The kingdom shattered, and their king was killed. So Tariq had done the impossible. He had broken an entire kingdom. And yet, that victory on the battlefield would soon spark a bitter conflict within his own ranks. Glory, as it turns out, always has a price. See, Tariq's orders were pretty clear. Secure a foothold, not conquer a continent. But filled with this incredible victory, he just kept pushing on, marching directly for the Visigothic capital, Toledo. And in doing that, he directly disobeyed his commander, Musa ibn Nusayr. So when Musa finally arrived in Spain, the meeting between the two commanders was no celebration. Not at all. It was the spark that ignited a bitter rivalry, fueled by Musa's jealousy and rage at being upstaged. This was the beginning of the end for our hero. Musa's reaction was swift, and it was brutal. In front of the very army that Tariq had just led to glory, Musa had him publicly whipped and thrown in prison. It was a shocking act of humiliation, all designed to put his brilliant, defiant subordinate back in his place. Well, news of this unbelievable conquest, and of course the drama between the commanders, reached the Caliph back in Damascus. He was probably nervous about his generals getting way too powerful so far from home, so he sent a simple, chilling order. Both of you, stop what you're doing and come back to the capital, now. This summons marked the start of the final, tragic chapter of Ṭāriq ibn Ziyād's life. The man who conquered a kingdom for the caliphate would find no reward waiting for him, only obscurity and an end completely unworthy of what he'd accomplished. When he got to Damascus, Ṭāriq wasn't celebrated as a hero. He was stripped of his titles, his command, and just cast aside, isolated from power. The great conqueror of Al-Andalus simply vanishes from the historical record. I mean, some conflicting accounts say he lived out his last days in poverty, a forgotten man begging in the same city his victories had made rich. It's just a heartbreaking end. And yet, while the man himself vanished, his name became immortal. That great rock where he first landed, known in Arabic as Jabal Ṭāriq, the Mount of Tariq, would echo through the centuries. Its name, warped over time, became Gibraltar.
Tariq ibn Ziyād, a man whose reality defied legend and whose ambition was ultimately destroyed by politics. But his legacy remains, an immortal name carved into stone, an eternal witness to one of history's most debated stories. If this blend of truth and legend has captivated you, support your channel, World of Arab Legends, by subscribing, liking, and leaving us a comment with another story you'd like us to uncover.